When it comes to creating content on YouTube, how important is audio, aka your microphone? Well, apart from the B-roll footage or the main footage of what you're talking about, it's actually the number one thing that you need to be worried about. However, my question today is, do you have to pay through the nose and buy a really expensive microphone to get a good sound? Well, recently I was actually contacted by FIFINE, who wanted to send me their AM8T streaming kit to use for my audio in my setup and then to give my review and my thoughts. I haven't actually used FIFINE equipment before, but I have seen their name floated around in the industry for having budget-friendly audio equipment for all the wants and needs of those who are just starting out on YouTube, or maybe more. And for all intents and purposes, what you're listening to right now is me recording this on that exact microphone. And to be completely clear, the discussion that I've had with FIFINE is just for them to supply me this microphone and then for me to do an honest review. They have not told me what to say. They've not told me to give it positive reviews. I will review this product as I see fit. Because at the end of the day, if you do not criticize a product, if there's criticisms to be had, then the brands will not learn to make their products better for you and I. To quickly put it into perspective for you, the FIFINE gaming microphone kit comes in at £77 on Amazon. And the microphone I'm usually rocking, which is the Sennheiser MKE600 shotgun microphone, is £250 on its own. So I guess the obvious thing to do here today is to pit one another against each other and see how they sound. But before I do that, let's have a look in the box of what you get within the FIFINE gaming streaming kit. When we open up the box to look inside, it's actually not that complicated. You've got a nicely compact set of equipment in foam. First up, you've got a USB-C cable, which allows you to connect the microphone from the microphone itself to the PC. This feels okay. It's not braided or anything like that. It's just your standard USB-C that you come to expect in a package like this. Next up, we have the clamp. This is what you would screw to a table in order to then position the boom arm on top. And then you've obviously got the boom arm itself. The boom arm feels like your stereotypical kind of newer, that brand type product that you kind of come to see on Amazon. Personally for me, I don't really like these type of boom arms. I just find them a bit kind of janky and a bit sort of in my face and in the way. I usually go for a third-party desk stand and have the position on the actual tabletop so that I can position it really closely to my mouth. However, for people just starting out, this boom arm is great. And then last up is the microphone itself, which comes with an attachment that allows you to put it in, keep it in place. It is a dynamic microphone, so you do need the tip of the microphone facing your mouth in order to get the best sound. First impressions, the materials are good. I can't complain. You know, at the end of the day, you're spending £77 to get a boom arm, a mic, a cable, and this feels nice. It feels premium for that level of budget. You've got the gain nozzles on what I can see is the bottom of the microphone, and you've got a touch button which changes the lights, which we'll show later on. But for the time being, we're just looking at it as it's unpackaged. On top of the microphone, you've then got some foam to cover up the actual microphone piece itself. I'm guessing to act as some kind of popping barrier to stop all those p-pers and b-bers. And what's quite nice is the microphone itself is obviously of a rectangle shape, and they've kind of kept that shape on the end of the microphone with the foam to kind of keep that sleek design. Nice. I do have one concern though, this foam does feel quite thin, so I would imagine with this setup you probably wouldn't want this microphone directly in front of your mouth. You probably want it at more of a 45-degree angle so that you're not blowing on it, as I do fear this probably will still do some popping sounds. The arm in which it sits on seems pretty good as well. I will come to see later whether this has any issues as to, you know, getting too much weight on the back end from the cables and whether it drops down. But otherwise, yeah, it feels good. I like it. The really interesting thing about this microphone, especially for its price point, is that it can be used as a USB microphone, or it also has an XLR connection. This is great for somebody like me. I have myself a Go XLR Mini, so being able to plug a microphone directly into that and get the benefits is absolutely fantastic. However, we will be doing a sound test with the USB input as well as the XLR input, because obviously I put filters on my sound to make it sound better. So it's really simple. Both of the cables fit snugly right at the bottom of the microphone device itself. Please note that an XLR cable does not come with this streaming kit. So if you do want to use an XLR connection, you will have to buy one separately. So once the XLR was plugged into my Go XLR, I then plugged the USB-C into the front top of my desktop PC. And hey presto, that is literally it. Your microphone is now working. You'll know it's alive because it will literally come alive. You can see the lights from the microphone mute button, and you can see the wicked RGB that flashes at the bottom. There is also a button on the back, which I was talking about before, the touch button, which you can press to change to whatever color suits your preference. Personally for me, I always love to leave it on rotating rainbow. In this footage, you can also see the green glow of the mute button at the front. Give this a tap and it will quickly mute your microphone. So I'm not gonna lie, it looks good, it looks great. And for someone who used to do live streaming with a camera on, I can imagine this piece of equipment looks fantastic on the other end for people to see and marvel at and go, ooh, this is a streamer. At this point in time, I am very much impressed. So we've opened up the box, it looks great, but here's the important part. Does it sound great? Well, I guess the next thing that we should do is put it to the test. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to read out the same sentence for each one of these microphones. One with the filters on with Premiere Pro, one with the filters off, and then one as a USB version only for those people who don't have an XLR mic. And then we can compare all of them against each other. So let's ask good old ChatGPT for a good sentence to test how good microphones sound. Are you guys ready? Swift foxes leap over the lazy dog under a bright moon's gaze. Swift foxes leap over the lazy dog under a bright moon's gaze. Swift foxes leap over the lazy dog under a bright moon's gaze. Swift foxes leap over the lazy dog under a bright moon's gaze. Swift foxes leap over the lazy dog under a bright moon's gaze. Swift foxes leap over the lazy dog under a bright moon's gaze. Swift foxes leap over the lazy dog under a bright moon's gaze. Swift foxes leap over the lazy dog under a bright moon's gaze. Swift foxes leap over the lazy dog under a bright moon's gaze. Swift foxes leap over the lazy dog under a bright moon's gaze. So there you have it. There's all the different variations of this microphone versus the microphone that I have. I'm actually amazed. I mean, obviously a shotgun mic is used for many different situations. And so I definitely think there is a more deeper, baser muddiness to the FIFINE microphone. And there is a lot more clarity to the shotgun mic. It's picking up a lot more. It's picking up a lot more of those kind of higher frequency treble sounds. But when you isolate the two in terms of the scenario which we're talking about, which is recording audio for either videos or for streaming, wow, I'm impressed. I must say that from my experience, this microphone is a fantastic microphone for those people that are first starting out making content, or those people who are on a budget and can't really spend £250 just on a microphone itself. I mean, even just using the USB cable, I'm shocked because I used to have a Rode microphone, and via USB, I thought it sounded terrible. I really was disappointed with that microphone, but I put up with it for a long time because I'd spent, £150 for it, I think, in the end. So, wow, yeah. The FIFINE AM8T gaming streaming microphone kit gets a massive thumbs up from I Am the Gaming Nerd.